If money is stopping you from starting your own business, then it doesn't have to. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to start a business with no money. Now, my name's David Paul, and I'll share with you the exact same processes that I've used to start multiple businesses from nothing, which have gone on to generate tens of millions of dollars in sales. So before you get disheartened that you haven't got tons of cash in the bank to start your own business, then please do stop and remember that some of the biggest brands out there, some of the best businesses have started their business with nothing. And in this video, I'll help you overcome your obstacles and get started with your own business. But before I share my favorite business ideas that you can start today with no money, let's get a few things straight. Now, ask yourself one question. Why haven't you done it already? Why haven't you already started your business? When talking to would-be entrepreneurs in my one-on-one breakthrough sessions, it's clear to me that most of them have been procrastinating for months or even years. They've usually been overly focused on the things stopping them from getting started. Things like lack of money, things like lack of time, but it really doesn't have to be that way. You absolutely can start a business with no money. Will it be your dream business? Well, maybe, maybe not. But there are tons of businesses that you can start right now with no money. As I say in my book, The Zero Cash Startup, most people think they need thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a business, but that's just not true. All you really need to start a business is a problem that people want solved, a way to solve that problem, and a way to connect with those people. That's it. No fancy office, no expensive ads, no huge upfront costs. Some of the best businesses in the world started with nothing, just a person, an idea, and a willingness to take action. Think about Airbnb, for example. Those guys started renting out air mattresses in their own apartment because they couldn't afford rent. Spanx started because the founder cut the feet off her tights to create a new kind of shapewear. The key is spotting a problem and finding a scrappy and effective way to solve it. So what kind of business could you start with $0? I'm going to share with you loads of business ideas that you can start with no money. Some online, some traditional, some passive, some active. And you'll find even more ideas in my book, The Zero Cash Startup. You can get a copy if you're interested using the link in the description. Before I share all the business ideas you can start with no money, do remember though that almost any business can be started with no money. But of course, there are going to be businesses that are easier to start with no money than others. So let's consider what they would be, and maybe you can start thinking about what you could start and what you could do with nothing. It sounds obvious, but business ideas that leverage your existing skills should be top of your list, as you'll have both the skills and the network to give your business a head start. If you can focus on where your current skills and interests are, then it's much more likely to be easier for you to succeed. Now, that's not to say that your dream business is completely outside of your skill set or network, that you can't actually make it work. You absolutely can do it. And there are plenty of businesses that do start that way. For example, if you wanted to start a complex technology business or app, but you have no money to pay for developers, then, or perhaps you've got no development skills, then you could find someone who's willing to work with you for equity or future revenue shares. That might be a way of starting a more complex business with no money. Another example might be that, let me think, let's say you want to start a magazine, but you can't afford the printing costs. A local printer might be willing to work with you on some trial runs in return for some free advertising. That might be enough to get you started, but you'll need to do the legwork. You'll need to put in the hard work. As my friends in the north of England would say, you don't get out for nout. Or in proper English, you don't get something for nothing. So it's going to take hard work if you decide to do something outside of your existing skill set. But contra deals or quid pro quos really can be helpful when starting a business with no money and when you have nothing. So whilst it is possible to start pretty much any business from nothing, it's almost always easier to start a business with no money if it's in a sector or an area where you have existing skills, at least some knowledge, or a network of established contacts. Now, you don't need these to be your skills, knowledge, or network. They could be borrowed perhaps from a family member, a friend, or a former colleague. So let's now explore a few business ideas that you can start with no money. I'll kick off with service-based businesses, as these can be some of the easiest businesses to start with no money. Most service-based businesses you can start with nothing will initially, just to begin with, mean you're selling some kind of service or your time for money. Now, we all know that in an ideal business, you don't want to be selling your time for money long term. But if you do it right, it can be a great short-term cash generator, giving you the ability to grow your business, reinvest the cash, and transition your business away from time for money over the long term. For example, whether you started, let's say, a social media management business, consulting service, a home service business like landscape or plumber, or even a dog walking business, then initially it's likely you're going to be selling your time for money, being paid either per hour or per service delivered. But as you generate sales, you can reinvest back into the business so it can be easy to expand into more areas, bring on more staff, until you get to the point that you are leveraging other people's time to grow your business and your profits, and you'll no longer be selling your time for money. So whilst many so-called experts will tell you not to start businesses selling your time for money, that is true long term. But doing so in the early stages when starting your business can be one of the quickest and most effective ways to get started and start getting cash through the door from day one. Some examples of great service businesses you can start with no money include any home style service business, right? So some require skills and equipment, which you might already have, but many don't. And home service businesses might sound boring, but they are good, solid businesses, easy to grow, easy to expand through franchise, and increasingly easy to sell. In fact, some of the biggest deals going down right now are big investors buying up smaller home service businesses. So it really is a great place to get started if you have no money to launch something more complex or more complicated. It's a great place to start. So next, let's look at a few ideas in the area of marketing, sales, and social media management. If you don't already have skills in these areas, it's actually pretty easy to get some skills online for free, and you can be quite niche and specific. For example, you might choose only to provide, say, let's say, copywriting services, or sales management, or marketing advice, or an advertising buying service. There are lots and lots of opportunities. Or perhaps you might choose to be a full service marketing agency from day one. Now, personally, I'd probably start in one niche area that matches your skills and then expand from there. Now, it is competitive, but if you are happy to hit the emails and the phones and you're great on social media, then you can build a really high value business over time, as well as get cash coming through the door pretty quickly from customers, often almost from day one. These sorts of businesses can also be sold to other agencies who want to grow. So there's always an easy exit option, offering big sums of money often when you sell that type of business. Another great business to start with no money is any kind of outsourced admin service, whether bookkeeping, general admin support, virtual assisting, anything admin related is a really great business idea to start when you have no money. So many businesses, small businesses especially, need admin support, and it can be pretty easy to pick up clients in this for this sort of business. A great way to pick up clients is to look at, for example, job listings, right? And you can find the smaller businesses that are advertising for like something like an admin assistant or a bookkeeper or whatever it might be. And you can contact them and see if they consider outsourcing the work to you rather than hiring someone in full time. Because after all, it really is less hassle for them to employ you as a freelancer than to go through the process of employing someone full time, especially if you make it a low commitment or even a free trial. A lot of businesses will take you up on the idea if you can offer them cost savings too. It's a great place to find clients and often overlooked. These sorts of admin businesses can also be scaled up rapidly with you outsourcing much of the work overseas. You can get to charge higher rates locally whilst you're getting that work done at low cost elsewhere. These can be highly profitable businesses that you can start with nothing. Staying in the same ballpark of business ideas, any other support type of service businesses can be great businesses to start with no money. I'm thinking about things like technical or marketing support type services, things like graphic design, video editing, voiceover. You can kickstart a really great small business in these areas with little or no money in the bank. And what's more, some of these require little or no skill, and the skills you might need are actually quite often easily found online. So you can really educate yourself in these areas. You can also leverage AI tools to start these types of businesses with no money. For video editing, for example, you no longer need to be an expert. You just need a great AI tool. And I'm sorry to say, you'll probably be as good as someone with a decade's experience. These types of service businesses are easy to scale and develop into a larger agency, which can be sold for big money over the long term. Another great type of business to start with no money is anything in education, right? Things like tutoring, coaching, consulting. So, becoming a coach, starting a consulting business, or launching a tutoring business can be a super easy business to start with nothing. As well as being easy to start, coaching, teaching, and consulting people in your area of expertise, whether online or offline, can be highly lucrative. And note I use the word expertise and not experts. You don't need to be expert. You just need to be able to share enough experience to educate or help the other person with whatever skill it is you're offering them. Now, whilst coaching and consulting businesses can be harder to move away from the pay per time model, it's certainly possible with many examples of coaches, tutors, or consultants who go on to scale into huge businesses worth tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. Whether it's business coaching, fitness coaching, career coaching, or teaching English, the ideas are endless. Think about what you know about, what it is that you have expertise in, and focus in on that. Remember, although you might initially be trading that time for money, it's a great way to generate initial cash flow, and you can often get money coming through the door really quickly. So, we've considered a bunch of ideas already, but next, another business you can start with nothing falls into the category of selling other people's things, selling other people's stuff. Now, some call it affiliate marketing or drop shipping. There are many different versions, but essentially, you're always selling someone else's product or service. Now, a bit of a proviso here. I'm not personally a big fan of this type of business unless you have an existing following, like a social media following or an existing email list. But it's certainly a proven business model. You can generate cash. So I'll mention it here, but if I'm honest, I think there are better businesses to get into, whatever the so called millionaire gurus online might say. Whether you call it affiliate marketing, drop shipping, or flipping items, you can definitely earn money doing it. But whether you are creating a long term, sustainable business, well, I'm not so sure. But as a cash generative exercise, these types of businesses can help you generate funds, which you might then use to build a better business that has a bigger long term growth opportunity. Personally, though, I'd rather put that effort into building a long term, saleable business from the beginning. So in this video, we've explored already just a few ideas, but remember, almost any business can be started with no money. But if you focus on ideas where you have existing skills, interests, or network, you'll likely find it far easier to succeed. It's pretty easy to develop your own ideas, and I go through this in my book, The Zero Cash Startup, where you can get it started step by step. If you like the book or you're interested at all, just go to the link in the description. So, okay, we've explored a bunch of ideas. So let's now go through how you actually start your business with no money in the bank, because that's the hardest part, right? So, first of all, before you waste time, you need to make sure people actually want what you're offering them, whatever product or services you're doing, you need to make sure people want it. So you can ask friends or family if they pay, but I do find that friends and family can either be too critical or too enthusiastic and too supportive. So it's often not my favorite approach. Instead, consider posting on Facebook groups, Reddit, Facebook Marketplace, or other communities so you can see if there's actually interest in your product or service. It can be a great way to see if people will really pay for what it is you're offering. Now, next, you'll need to create a brand, and you can use free tools like Canva or other online free services. You can use YouTube to research or search for free logo or branding tools. There are tons online, and they almost all have some kind of free trial. And it's the same with ads or graphics. Use something like Canva. Likewise, running your business, invoices, proposals, etc. This can all be done for free using online tools. Marketing yourself, though, is more important than any of this. Network like crazy. If you're starting a business with no money, will be your fastest and most lucrative tool. Whether it's networking at the local bar, mum's group, or golf club, peddling your home service business, or going perhaps to the local business meetups promoting your marketing services, finding great network opportunities should be top of your list. Now, remember, networking isn't just in person. You can network online, Facebook groups, or using direct messages with influencers. Network whenever and however you can, online and offline, in person or not. Next, though, leverage social media. This will be vital if you're starting a business with no money. Post on your own pages, comment in groups, and provide helpful advice. But don't spam people. Be a good community member, helping people, show your skills, show how you can help them. You can also reach out to people directly, maybe something like it's often called cold outreach. Be nice though, don't just go about selling and promoting your product or service. Start engaging conversations through email or direct messages on social media. Be nice. Provide compliments to see if there are any mutually beneficial ways that you might be able to work together. What can you provide to them in return for them helping you? Use online platforms where it can be free to list your services, whether it's directories or more advanced platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, where freelancers list their services. You can find many places to list your services for free or at very low cost. One business I work with spent tens of thousands on ads, but their biggest source of customers turned out to be a free listing on a small directory website because it was so niche. It doesn't need to cost you anything to get your first customers. Once you do have sales coming in, though, remember to reinvest as much as possible back into the business so you can grow your business quickly. Reinvest your income into improving your skills. Now, you could invest in books or courses or coaching to get better at what you do. You'll also want to automate and streamline your business. Use free or cheap online tools to save you time and increase the efficiency of your business so you can spend more time on selling, marketing, and growing your business, which is the most important thing you need to spend time doing. Invest in expanding your offerings. Explore what you can sell in addition to what you already do. Upsell and cross sell to your existing customers. What could you do that creates recurring revenue? Another great way to grow your business is to increase your prices. It sounds pretty simple, right? But once you have testimonials and experience, try charging a little more. Try it and see. You can always reverse, but usually price increases backed up by research and value go down absolutely fine. Now, you might have started your business with nothing, but your $0 business doesn't need to stay that way. A $0 business doesn't stay that way forever if you invest back into it and you build something sustainable. So let's recap. You 100% don't need money to start a business, and I hope I've proven that in this video. What you do need, though, is you need a problem to solve, a product or service to start solving it, and hard work and determination to market, sell, and find customers. I've started businesses from scratch that have gone on to generate tens of millions in sales, so I know what works, and I know you can do it too. The key is just to start. Don't overthink it. Just get started. You can discover a full blueprint and tons of business ideas in my book, Zero Cash Startup. The link is in the description. But if you keep procrastinating, or you maybe need a bit of a helping hand to get yourself started, then consider a one-on-one session with me. But I only provide one session a week. So to find out more and apply for a session, visit my website. The link is in the description. My name is David Paul, and I'm the founder, investor, and entrepreneur of multiple businesses. I do these videos to help those starting out and help you overcome the obstacles that you get when you start along the way. So if you've liked this video, please click like and subscribe. As I say, I'm here sharing my knowledge after 20 years starting, growing, and selling successful businesses. I want to help people like you overcome the obstacles to getting started. So it means the world to me when you like or subscribe or when you leave a comment. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it so much. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.